And I think we're doing pretty good. Let me see if everybody can hear me. Hey, perfect. Hello, all newcomers, and welcome back, my fellow Eternians. As always, it's me, Emperor AP, and today I am really, really excited to be talking to you guys. I haven't been able to talk to you in a minute because my schooling has been crazy. Anybody who's a student right about now is probably dealing with finals. So that's what I'm dealing with right now, sort of end of semester stuff. So one of um, the bigger things that I'm excited about is that in this little gap that we've had, I've been actually quite active in my schoolwork, but as well in trying to get things together for our bigger and bigger moves that are coming in the summer. So first off, we have a few people joining us, so I want to go ahead and address them. The Republic of South Nor says, hello, hello, Republic of South Nor. I got your Discord message and I wanted to surprise you with a stream. So here we are. It's good to see you, and thank you so much for contacting me about our next stream. I want to get a solid schedule on so badly, but like I said, with my schoolwork, a lot of time that's difficult. However, this summer I may have some new opportunities that will kind of open that and allow me to potentially start a schedule, at least for the summer. So you guys might get a good few months of regularly scheduled content, and then while that's going on, we can hopefully plan a way to continue that out into the future uh, so that I can still do what I need to do, but that everybody's able to get some good content. So, Conman said already here. What's going on, Conman? Good to see you. Edwin Portillo says greetings from the United Empire. Greetings, Edwin. How are you? Southmore said track meet went well. Hey, I'm glad to hear that. Congratulations. I'm excited for you. Autocratic State of Kruslava said hello. Hey, what's going on, Kruslava? How are you? Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and get us um, some music brought up, but I wanted to quickly address. Excuse me one second, guys. I wanted to quickly address a few interesting things that have been happening. Firstly, and this is one of the things that I'm really excited about. We have hit 12:30. We have officially hit, as you guys can see on our live count right here, 12:31. Thank you guys so much. That is pushing us closer and closer to our goal of 2,000. I'm hoping we can reach 2,000 by the end of this year. So 2022, we should have 2,000 or potentially over that. And so I'm super psyched about it. Let me see. So, as well, we have been doing very well in our average daily subscribers, which has actually been picking up. A lot of the time, we'll be hovering around like two something. Now we're at around three, so we're doing pretty good. We're slowly picking up the pace a little bit with the channel, and we're able to be moving forward with growing our watch time and stuff. The watch time, of course, you guys know, is our big key to monetization. So right now we've actually surpassed 2,800, which is a milestone for us. So thank you guys so much. For a long time in this trek, it felt like getting 5 or 10 watch time hours took a long time, and then getting 20 or 30 or 50 and then 100 has been the big thing. Once we hit a new 100 public watch time hours, that's been kind of crazy. But since we hit 2,800, we went to 2,828 pretty quickly. So that's something I've been super impressed with, and I think it's because of that kind of growth, that excitement from the community, getting us ready to do some bigger and better things. So we are approaching rapidly 2,900, which is almost 3/4 of the way there, and then onward to 1,000. If we start knocking out those hundreds quick, the 1,000 is gonna fly by, and we will be ready to have all of our content monetized, which means we can put more into giving cool content to you guys. So another one of the things that I am super excited about. Oop, real quick. Edwin Portillo asked a great question. He said, "Where can I buy the Eternian dollar?" Edwin, we have actually the Eternian note. Is what our currency is called, but that is a fantastic question. You can buy the imperial note. Excuse me, I was thrown off by the imperial note. Bless you, Tiff. the Imperial Note is something that you can purchase on our Etsy. So that's etsy.com/shop/ the Imperial Market. But another quick and easy way to get there is if you go to our website. If you type in the Empire of Aeternia, excuse me, the Empire of Aeternia Wix pops up first result right away. But the actual address is eternianempire.wixsite.com/Imperial Market. So if you get on there, you can go to this little top indicator up here, up in the top right hand corner, and you can go all the way over to more, drop down and go to the Imperial Market. That's the other link to our Etsy, where you can purchase the Imperial Notes in packs of 5. And that is actually a great question to bring up. I can potentially drop that in the chat for you. Let me just go ahead and make it all that much easier. And I will throw the link for that into the chat. Also, purchasing our Imperial Notes helps you to become a part of our aristocrat board. And there's some news with that I want to get to. There's also a lot to be said for some of our deliberations as to the issues that we were having with sending out mail, and all of that's getting fixed as we're starting to come out with new products and have people working on new things and have new opportunities. So the biggest and best thing that I want to talk about, Edwin bringing up that great point about the Imperial Notes, is that we are building our aristocrat board. As you guys know, people have been excited to support the Aeternian economy and to show their support by purchasing these Imperial Notes. Now, as of right now, these aren't able to be exchanged, but the incredible power that it has is showing this support for our nation, and on top of that, allowing for this sort of economy and this interplay between the different citizens and different actors, I suppose, external to Aeternia. People are creating these different dynamics and these different pushbacks with each other that are affecting how other people interact in our economy. Like, even though we don't have this fully circular system yet, we do have an active community and an active economy in that. You know, people finding value in that and finding value in their placement in the aristocrat board does have some effect and does have some impact. Of course, our top 2 aristocrats, Matthew Freeman has stayed at the top for a good long time. He has been a wonderful supporter and is a citizen of ours. Leanna Taylor, a wonderful citizen as well. Drew Freeman, Matthew Freeman's brother, someone who is trying to get their citizenship, and I believe is very close on their ability to move forward with that. But Raymond Bosher, someone who is the leader of another micronation that's on our micronational map. Of course, Stephen Vince, our master of the House of Treasure. Mason Kodad from, I'm trying to think of Mason's micronation right now. That I'll have to come back to it. But then Gray Mare as well, master of the House of Others with 1 note. Now, there's about to be some big changes in that because Gray, I don't mean to spoil too much for y'all, has actually purchased some notes. And so his placement on the aristocrat board is going to be going up pretty quickly. And so this will be an interesting bout of things to see as well. The month is almost up, which means Stevens' note tally is going to go up and potentially will be surpassing Raymond pretty quickly. One of the big things that I've been concerned about with our economy, Leanna had brought up an issue with our, I kind of revealed it. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, I'm going to, hold up, a whole bunch of people jumping in. Edwin said, thank you, Edwin, and I am excited to see you participating and supporting us. Leanna said, greetings to Tiffany. I will tell Tiffany for you, Leanna. And I know just kind of with who Tiffany is, she'd be saying greetings as well. Edwin said he'll be back, so I'm excited to see if he's going to support our economy and purchase some Imperial notes. The Parliament of Vernonium says, I'm going to buy the Unity medal when I get some money. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really excited about that. I want micronations to really adopt the Unity medal. That's why I'm trying to get with this um, this Eternian Progress Prize. I have been developing this all week, and at the beginning of the week, I told you guys on Friday this thing's going to drop. You know, we're going to have the announcement for who's ready to receive the prize, and in good conscience, I just can't do it. I want to, but the work isn't there. The design of the prize isn't complete, honestly. And on top of that, we haven't done enough polling to really get, I feel like, an accurate representation of the micronational community. So I'm still doing it. Like, hold my feet to the fire. I'm holding my feet to the fire. This is something that I want to become a big established part of the micronational community, and something that I want to be really an inspiration, and that people will start to interact in these large scale ways with trying to get cultural norms established, and different celebrations in the micronational community to be established and for people to get excited about. So instead of just having kind of these pockets of micronational interests that support one idea or the other, it'd be a way to really bring people together. Um, but so I want to get that done, and one of the biggest issues that has been being caused by that is that we have had issues with our shipping, but that has been completely taken care of. Leanna actually brought up that a number of times that she had received some of her packages, they had additional shipping that she was charged for, besides the shipping that she paid to us to provide that. Now, I didn't realize some of the rules for the USPS, so that was completely my fault. That was my mistake in how I was doing that. But essentially, some of the things that I was sending, it should have only been with the actual, if you got the Unity medal, it may have happened, but I doubt it. The If you got the ring, though, if you got the Mark of the Owl, it would be considered a parcel and not something that I could send via a letter with additional postage, which I thought I could do, and I had done with other things like the Unity medal, as well as the Imperial notes that we've sold. So I didn't expect to run into that, but now that I do know about that, all that's going to take for us is going to be a slight change in the amount of shipping that it costs on buying those larger items. But once you pay that, that'll be good. We should be able to set a flat rate basically for anything that's like a parcel up to 13 ounces. So we shouldn't have like a big jump in our shipping price once we start shipping larger and larger items. So that'll be good. I think we're probably going to go to like 550. Right now it's set at like 3 something. So if we can get it to like 550, I think the postage itself is like 5, but then I have to, like, gas money and time to set everything up. Just trying to do a little bit more than break even on a lot of it. So that's the big setup, is that now that we have this momentum going, now that we have these problems out of the way, the other thing that I wanted to knock out for us as we're celebrating 1230, as we're celebrating the growth of our community, as we're getting near to those 4,000 watch time hours, boom, we have a PO box. We have a PO box now. So our PO box address, you can address to the Empire of Aeternia. Don't address it to Emperor AP, because that's not the name that it's under. But it's registered to me, but don't write Emperor AP if you're trying to mail a thing. Mail to the Empire of Aeternia in general, we'll get it, to P.O. Box 923, Madison, Alabama, 35758. If you set up that to the PO box, we'll get it, and we'll be able to. What I'd like to do in the future, especially, I think this is exciting for our interactions with micronations who want to do more in-person trade, because what that allows for us is to set up a system where we can actually now take physical goods from other micronations if they're interested in donating that to us, and we can sell them on the imperial market, and we can, you know, show off the culture of those other nations and say, potentially set up some sort of trade alliance to say, hey, this was an artifact, a piece of culture created by such and such micronation is now being sold on the imperial market. So smaller micronations who want to focus down on producing one type of product and getting good at it could do that easily, and allow for them to get their name out and more recognized. So I am super, super hype about that. If you guys want to submit things to our PO box, you just send to that address, and the dimensions are 3 inches by 5.5 inches. So essentially like letters. Don't, if you send something larger than that, that may be all right, but I may have a tough time getting it. They'll hold it for me, but only for so long, I think, and only up to like a certain weight. So definitely try to send small packages. The PO box that we got was the smallest one that they had, and that's still going to allow us a good bit of versatility. But that in itself was like $130 or something. So in large part, really digging into our what our total treasury would be if we were to take it out of our treasury. I'm taking it on personally, but it's one of those things that does sort of affect us. So if we can start off with this small box and we can grow it and we can get it good, then we will be able to eventually upgrade to a larger box. And as well, that should push us a lot closer to our land purchase, which is something that we have to show off on the website as well. We have a land purchase funding loading bar effectively now, where our total budget, the thing that we're looking for to set down on a piece of land, is around $10,000. So we're probably not going to put down all of that at once, but we want to have that on hand before we purchase any land and decide, you know, how much we can afford in payments, because we want to be able to put down a significant amount, as well as being able to really focus on developing the land with that startup money that we have. We don't want to have this put into just buying bare land and then having to struggle to try and figure out, you know, how we're going to develop the ability to have people on there and to be able to start people up in coming to visit us, starting to set up the different industries that we want to have there. So we want to make sure that we have a good buffer zone for that. And so we have set up this loading bar for us. I know people have asked about it for quite some time. We're finally doing it. Right now we have $551.73 out of 10,000. So what we are about to do with the additional purchases that are coming in, we're going to continue to add this and keep it up to date. You guys, that's 5%. That's over 5% of our goal, which doesn't feel really big, but at the same time, it's a 20. Like, you know, we're moving pretty quick, and this, you know, within the next year or two, I expect this bar to start filling up pretty quick, and I expect us to be growing at that rate. So there will be a lot to look forward to with the Empire of Aeternia. And with that, I also want to start playing some stuff, because I haven't hit it up. Let me hit it up for you guys. And also, let me check to make sure I'm not going to blow everybody's eardrums out with this. While that's loading, I'm going to jump into the chat. Hey! Okay. We have a lot of stuff going on. First off, we have 12 viewers. Thank you guys so much. If you guys are enjoying the stream and you like what we're doing, please make sure to like and to subscribe. When you like the stream, it helps us to like get it out there further. So that's a big deal for us. And then as well, the more you do with supporting us, letting people know about us, trying to help us spread the message we're trying to spread, you eventually get to the point where people are looking for us, people are searching for us. And that's been something that I've kind of been tracking in our analytics that's been really, really cool, is that like you can sort of trace the sources of growth for us, where there will be particular points in our history where all of a sudden the amount of people looking for our stuff like just spikes really high, and it's great to see. And a lot of the time it does come when there's a new citizen that joins us, somebody who's making content, somebody who's helping us to further define our image and further experience what it is that we're trying to do. So that's been a phenomenal thing to watch, and it helps us to plan for how we want to continue to grow. Let me jump into some of this. This person with the long name said, hello. Team Leader 4 says, has anyone declared war on you guys? No, they have not. Leanna said, buying more notes next week, as well as my citizenship license. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Leanna. I appreciate that. And as well, I will be making sure now that it doesn't have any issues to you. So we've got it all figured out, and I am excited that you were purchasing from us. As well, we are continuing to make moves. Now that we have our P.O. box established, we're going to be well on our way to finishing our business license paperwork for the United States. So that's going to be an interesting thing to start developing. And then as we push forward, starting to look for more ways to open up our abilities as a micronation, and with trading on larger scales, and with opening up the ability for diversity within our economy, and doing so in the way that's best for our growth. So that's our roundabout way of saying we're growing stuff legally, we're growing stuff economically, we are defining ourselves further and further, not just on the international stage, not just here on YouTube and on the internet, but we're also defining that in real life. We're defining that through the United States. We're defining that through the actions that we're taking and the measures we're moving forward with, and all of that's thanks to you guys. So again, I just want to point that out, and I want to say that if you're ever curious as to, okay, yep, Google's not going to shut up now. So, yep, there we go. Okay, cool. So that's essentially just trying to say that this growth that we're going for, this stuff that we're trying to do, if you've ever been curious as to what it means to develop a micronation day to day, it's just about trying to figure out what works for your specific scenario and situation, and trying to move forward with that. It's fun, but it's fun to have a group of people doing it, and I think that's one of the things that's been why I've really pushed for everybody to really think about like what makes their micronation a micronation, and why, and what they feel like is the most important part of micronationalism to them. Because the more that you can unify, the more that you can grow and connect as one sort of organism, as different micronational beliefs, or even different micronations coming together to form a single one. Those are things that really allow for a group to shine, and for people to be able to do more with less, because of the different efforts that are being put in on all sides. Okay, so Brenonium says, I'm going to buy the Unity medal when I get some money. Thank you so much. And I am excited about that. I've talked about that a ton. South North said, war is ridiculous. War is ridiculous. We gotta stop the war. We gotta shut it down. Peace for days. Team Leader said, BTW, it's me, Con Man. Oh, okay, I appreciate it. Brenonium said, I recently spent all my money on a BB gun and military hat. That sounds pretty cool. I bet you'll look rad. That's cool, man. Definitely Be careful though. BB guns still get you. Still, if you shoot somebody in the eye with that, that'll hurt. Don't be pointing at people. But I'm sure you're well aware of BB gun etiquette. Team 4 leader says, do declare war on my micronation. Team 4 leader said micronational war is stupid. Agreed. You should tell them. Nah, we just don't. We're just not gonna do it. It's just you declare war. That's cool. That's good for you. Chuto says, I agree. War in general is stupid. Fair. Bernonium says, I've never been to war. However, we have a military. Interesting. Why do you feel the need for one, I guess? South North said, war is stupid and idiotic, especially for micronationalism. Fair. Let me see. What if someone's destroying your buildings? What then? Autocrat Kruslava said, yeah, I saw a new Kruaslavia said, yeah, I saw a new micronation declared war in East Germany, which doesn't even exist anymore. Leana said, war is stupid, defense is necessary. I think for micronations, it really, really depends on the situation. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in a place that doesn't necessitate defense, you know? If you're in a place that defense, I guess, is also such a general term. I don't think you need to violently defend yourself. I think there are definitely ways to like prevent and intercept things that might be trying to harm you or to take from you without necessarily needing like a military or like armed guards or anything like that. But again, that's just one way to do it. Trudeau says, on the eastern side of Ukraine, Slovakia and western Czechia, hold up. People are jumping around. Okay, let me see what everybody's talking about. Joshua asked if I'm on the citizen chat. I am not, but I will check Discord. If anybody wants to like message me stuff on Discord as well, I'm available to like check it and to see what's going on. I just may not always jump in the voice chat because it will sometimes become difficult when too many people jump in. But let me read the chat and then I will probably jump in with you in just a moment, Joshua. Daniel said, just shared the stream. Oh, thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate that. That actually gives me like a huge boost. I know we are 2 Twitter followers away from 100 Twitter followers. We almost have, we're like getting up there, I think in the 200 or 300s on Instagram. So that's pretty cool. We're getting up there as well. We're like nearing 500. Theodore says, what are coil guns? What are y'all talking about with coil guns? Interesting. Chrysalva says, I wouldn't mind a coil gun. Vernonium says, the hat I use for my army is $25. Interesting. Is it something that you get for like everybody who joins your nation? Leona says, a coil gun is basically a railgun. Team 4 leader says, do you still have to pay rent? How many notes would you pay someone to build stuff for you? These are all interesting questions. What did you mean by do you still have to pay rent? Team, you said you are, let me go back. Conman, how much would I pay for someone to build stuff? It would depend on what the thing is. Like, I don't think we would specially order something made. I think it would be you like presenting something to us and then us like deciding on, whether or not we would want to accept it and then sell it. I don't know right now that we would be attempting to buy too much. Like right now we're trying to put out stuff, but there could be, you know what I mean? As we continue to grow, I guess let us know what you can build. Because that, depending on what it is, it might help us to grow, help us to automate. So I guess that'd be my curiosity. Parliament of Vernonium says, message retracted. Matt said, what's poppin'? Hey, Matt, what's going on? I hope you're doing well. I'm excited to talk to you about doing business stuff on the Imperial market. I know for a while you have wanted to set up a business in the Imperial market, and now we have our P.O. box, so I would love to talk to you about that and get that set up with you. I know that's going to be one of the biggest things for solidifying our economy, and the way that this market works is making sure that there are a diverse amount of people contributing and trying to make unique items that people want to buy. You know, it's kind of like a mall of sorts. Like the more cool and unique things you have, the more interested people are. Or, you know, a grocery store or whatever. Leona said, greetings, Matt. Theodore Roosevelt said, how are you? I'm great, Theodore. How are you? Daniel said, hello from the CRC. Hello, Daniel. How are you? Leona said, greetings, Daniel. Theodore said, good night. Have a good night, Theodore. Vernonium says, I have my army because people destroy my buildings. The north is me and my citizens building things in the woods with limited materials. Interesting. Do you think it's other, like, random people who come by and destroy it? Or do you think there's somebody who's destroying it, like, purposefully? Are there other micronations around you that are messing with it? Like, what's the beef? I'm curious. Team 4 leader says, your house. Currently, we do rent, yes. However, we're hoping to purchase land flat out, so we would own the title to it. We would have to pay taxes on the land, but we wouldn't actually pay rent on it. We would own it outright, which is the stage we're trying to get to. That's one of the big reasons for doing that and purchasing land, as well as the ability to manufacture in a larger way without bothering people nearby us. Daniel said, Team 4 leader, how much would you typically charge for your coil guns? Y'all don't sell coil guns. Don't sell coil guns to people. Leanna said, good night, Theodore. Team 4 leader said, not mine, but a friend of mine is making some. Crusalava said, sad, my economy, I debt by $6. Is in debt by $6. I'm sorry to hear that. Michael said, the size of my territory is 1.97 kilometers square. Hey, that's very cool. That's incredible. That's a good bit of land. Chito says, why are you in debt? Kruslava says, I paid someone to sing my national anthem. Oh, interesting. Did it do well? Like, are you excited about it? Let me actually change this music. I'm not feeling that. But yeah, did you like it? Like, did you feel like it was worth it? Because I think that would be the big thing for me. Is like, you can do stuff like that. You can like pay people to do different stuff for your micronation or like to help you. Just make sure it's something that you can like get some use out of. I mean, I feel like that in and of itself, though, is something that's also kind of like personal. You know what I mean? Like if you're just for your own entertainment, paying somebody to sing your national anthem, I get if it's just for you. Like I get if you're like, nah, I just wanted to do it, sort of thing. Leona said, speaking of diversity, did you hear about Caitlyn Jenner running for governor of California? No, that's interesting. I am curious as to how that'll go. The current governor is Gavin Newsom, right? I'm curious. I'm curious about how that'll go. Eskimo said hi. Eskimo said, what's a coil gun? It's a electromagnetically propelled projectile. Leona said, greetings, Eskimo. Trudeau said, damn, Chryslava's poor. Eskimo said, like an electrical coil gun? Yes, that's what they're talking about, Eskimo. Daniel Maloney said, who is destroying your buildings? The CRC might be able to help you in regards to defense. No, don't do that. No, that's not the correct thing to do. Don't go trying to either sell people things to defend themselves or to go to somewhere and offer security services. Don't do that. Don't, guys. Vernonium said Northern Territory, Brackshire is Branchshire is a place where people hang out and do drugs and drink, so they destroy things. Dude, that's an interesting I wouldn't. I don't know about the description of that territory. That's interesting. Chuto says, so is it just lawless? Like, is that the idea? Chuto says, Chuto has a similar problem with drunk people. What's up with all the micronations and it being an issue with drunk people? Daniel Maloney said, I am still interested in those coil guns. My nation can use them for its military. Oh, that's very cool. Bernonium says, they're just minor annoyance. I can make stronger buildings so those drunkards can't destroy it. Oh, goodness. What? Escobar says, if you have $5 and no debt, you're richer than 99% of people and richer than 32% of countries. Oh, that's interesting. Well, but that's actually not. Well, see though, that's complex, I guess. Autocratic States of Kruzlava says, kind of, but they stumbled with the name of my nation. Interesting. Kruzlava. Leona said, AP, coil guns can be sold person to person because they're not considered firearms under federal law and are not regulated like firearms. That's fine. I still wouldn't be selling people weapons. I don't know. That's y'all, but you know, I'm not gonna be responsible for somebody getting shot. I don't know. That's just me. Escobar said, diversity is overrated. I want everyone to be the same, like the Amish. Team 4 leader said, what they do is what they do. Team 4 leader said, my micronation is to help people. Yeah, exactly. That's positive. Team 4 leader says, okay, Daniel. Daniel said, oh, druggies and drunkards are just a slight problem. Interesting. Bernonium says, I'm going to have to start dividing my budget among the Department of Defense, Department of Transportation, and Department of Agriculture. What's your transportation department like? I'm curious. And how's the budget for that work? Agriculture, I imagine, would be like crops and like maintenance material. Defense, I imagine, is like uniforms, maybe weapons. But again, guys, don't be just messing around with weapons. Daniel said it can be fixed. Team 4 leader says we also have our own rights to own weapons. Yep, people sure do, but I don't know, that doesn't mean they should always use them. Eskimo says a lot of drunkards have here too, and there's a semi-moonshine problem. That's an interesting one. Bernonium says essentially lawless until we showed up and started implementing the laws. What were the laws you implemented? It's only really enforced in and nearby cities and towns. Interesting. Daniel said, my nation 2 Team 4 leader. Goodness. I was going to say, showing up with a coil gun like all the other kids with the pumped up kid. Yeah, don't do that. Exactly. That's exactly what I don't want. Bernonium says, if someone is wanted and they go into the city, if someone is wanted and they go into the city, they get some jail time though. Interesting. Bernonium says our Department of Transportation is mainly issuing licenses for bicycles. That's interesting. Issuing licenses for bicycles. I would love to know more about that. Lana said, how much are they asking for coil guns? Oh, goodness. Trying to sell coil guns to people. Silly goobies. Very cool. So yeah, in addition to all this stuff, I'm really trying to figure out how to do the Aeternian Progress Prize. Please continue thinking of nations that you feel like would be best to represent the first recipient of the Aeternian Progress Prize, or an individual. You know, they don't even have to be a part of a micronation. Just people that you feel have impacted micronationalism for the better, and who you feel like may be the most deserving of that. Because for us, that's always a big point of contention, is trying to figure out like what. There's so many concepts out there about what should be the right way to grow, what should be the right way to develop for a given situation, but there's so much of micronationalism that is kind of uncharted territory, or at very least, in a modern sense, uncharted territory. So that's ultimately the larger question for us: is who's on the right path, who's got the right idea, and um, how does that work? So when we find somebody who is doing just spectacularly, it's important that we acknowledge them, and it's important that we try and learn from what they're doing if they're gaining success. I certainly think there should be some ethics to that success, and I certainly think there should be some consideration when it goes into who's given the award. But I definitely think that there should be some way intramicronationally for us to adequately represent those of us who are excelling. Trudeau says, I can't wait for March 1st. It's for the following March 1st, March 1st, 2022, because it's April right now. Eskimo said, Leanna says, I'm a technology geek. I love that kind of stuff. So, Leanna, if I just make you technology stuff, you'll buy it? Like, I can just make a lot of technology stuff. Yeah, just hit me up with things, I guess. Oh, goodness. Okay. Chucho says, I can't wait for March 1st. Vernonium says, bicycles are the most prominent mode of transportation, especially since nobody actually lives in Branchshire. We bike there. Interesting. Daniel said, that was what I was asking Atlanta. Chuto says W. Eskimo says, I'm contemplating starting my own micronation again because all the drama died down. Eskimo, why wouldn't you join another micronation? Like, what happened with the drama? I'm curious as to if you feel like there's anything that you might need to learn or might want to develop with a partner or with an additional source of support. Because every time I see micronations fall and then they jump like right back up really hard, it's always an interesting dynamic. Because a lot of time they either like change their name and then that becomes like a whole like branding thing. Because you kind of start from square one, and then there's like but it was tied to this one, and people are kind of trying to make connections. And then the second thing is that if you don't change your name, you're still kind of just stuck in the same spot. But it's something to think about. It's something to think about. Having an extra team behind you right from the start can give you so much help. Chateau says, what do you think about the population of a country rebelling against oppression and start a war? What do I think about it? So I certainly think there are circumstances where protests and where trying to, excuse me 1 second, let me grab my charger.
Are you ready to be heard? Learn music production at the Los Angeles Recording School, division of the Los Angeles Film School. Learn how to mold your music into a career while protecting and promoting your songs. Our program is delivered 100% online, giving you schedule flexibility and support from instructors and parents. Graduates
Oh gosh, so dumb. Skip ad, skip ad. Cool. There we go. Alright. So we're going to jump back in real quick. So to answer that question, I definitely understand that there's a certain time and place to feel it necessary to make change, make political change, have protest, have your voice be heard, and to demand that so. However, I don't believe in warfare as a means for doing that. I don't think it's necessary. People, when they rally together in enough numbers, can just affect change on their own by living a different way, by acting a different way, by banding together. Humans, I think, by nature, have aggression but aren't inherently violent. I think, you know, a lot of the time our societies actually support and encourage a peaceful nature and a cooperative nature because it allows you to get more things done easily. So anytime you're trying to go after another person or another group of people in order to like harm them and destroy their property and, you know, try to attack them, whether they're your enemy or whether they're, you know, your oppressor, whatever you're being oppressed by, doesn't give you the right to go and then oppress others, you know. So I think the people who you would be fighting against would be products of their environment. They would be things, people who were supported by the institutions they are believing in order to fight for their cause. So I don't think it's necessary. If there is enough support for what you are trying to do, and if you continue to push throughout your whole life for what you want to do, nonviolence is a harder route, but it is certainly a much more effective and much more long-lasting route. When someone, you know, starts a war, causes a violent reaction to something, they may get their message across initially, but there's nothing that inherently ties them to ownership or title of whatever the thing that they won their fight over is. There will be someone else who can then come up and muscle them out of that, But if it's a group of people who are not fighting about it, but are just conforming that, or forming and then creating confirmation to that standard, saying this is the way that we live, this is the way that we're going to operate at a certain point, at a certain size, that can't be shaken easily. And there will be continued ability to protect and to support that. So that's what it means to me, I think, is trying to move away from things like that. You know, we support independence movements. We talk about that all the time. We had our Day of Solidarity recently, which is what the Aeternian Progress Prize is all about, is trying to move forward with support and collectivization as far as, you know, unifying really these groups, these independence movements, these people who want increased rights for themselves and to be able to self-determine. The thing that becomes an issue in that is trying to do that in a way that is recognized and accepted by people the world over, that everybody can identify with, and peace being the nature of so many people's calm and the thing that so many people ultimately end up fighting for, that that can be established as the precedent for action, as the foundation for whatever your movement is. You can have a peaceful change of power. You can have a peaceful evolution of a society without the need for a violent uprising or without a need to fight an enemy. You can change hearts and minds infinitely. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I'm a firm believer that there's proof of that. You know, there's historical evidence that shows that. Michael said, my military will be like this. Total recruits 250, tanks, armored vehicles 20, Air Force fighter planes 6, bombers 5, Navy 10. What are the arbitrary numbers for? Truto says, wait, May 1st. Hey, I feel you. What's May 1st, Truto? Eskimo said, good luck buying planes, bro. There's a huge market. Vernonium says, I'm really looking forward to starting a Navy. Eskimo said, ooh. Well, I'm not really jumping back up. It's been like 2 months, and it wasn't insider drama. It was outsider drama. Interesting. Leona said, it had to be a sci-fi in real life kind of technology, like coil guns, lightsabers, plasma blasters, stuff like that. I do like that coil guns are lumped in there, because coil guns by far seem like the least sci-fi thing of that. I mean, the lightsabers, I guess, like, if you could make like a lightsaber, or I guess like a really cool replica one. I saw a guy who like did one, but it was really just like, I shot a gas out, and I like ionized the gas. I made a flame salute, which is an interesting thing. Um, Eskimo said, Leanna said, Leanna said, I'm ready for May 4th. May the 4th be with you. I appreciate it. Eskimo says, I'm ready for May 5th, and my body is ready. Goodness. Leanna said, Revenge of the 5th. Eskimo said, no, Cinco de Mayo. Also, it's my birthday. I appreciate both those things. Happy birthday, Eskimo, and happy early Cinco de Mayo. Leanna said, cool. Uh, uh, Es- uh, Conman said, I'm back. Leanna said, greetings, Team 4. Daniel said, responding for all this stuff. Eskimo says, AP is in, I don't understand that one. Bernonium says, how many citizens do you have, Daniel? Church says, what about if someone rebels after someone invades their own land? Again, you know who was great at removing people who invaded their land? Gandhi and the Indians. Agreed. I don't think Gandhi as a person was like all perfect. I don't think anybody is, but I think there are multiple times where I've come back on this channel and referenced that, just because it is like a flat out textbook definition, peaceful revolution. The British occupied India for decades and decades and decades, and eventually the protests and the support for change became strong enough that it just was a losing battle. You know, over time, the British couldn't keep control of their colonies, and the Indian people became more and more independent and more self-interested, as did all the colonies. But the people in India were a great show of exactly how nonviolent change can occur, and that it was still a hard fought battle. I think, you know, Brazil was a colony, but it was eventually just turned over from Portugal. Basically, Portugal just kind of signs off on it. But for India, it was this complete back and forth. It was this really hard issue, in the same way that Tiffany's looking at moon dust. She's trying to get him.
I missed the time of turning in.
Who did you? Are you still able to turn in? Is it just like submitted late? Try it.
Trying I don't know, just getting trying out the thing is wrong. Multiple things that are wrong, and it's agitating. So I'm just putting in. Yeah, so these things are wrong. This test will definitely need to be done again so that it can be correct. But like, here's what I got.
Hey, buddy. Sorry, this cat is a huge distraction. Can you show the people this snug cat? Look at Moon does. He's moony. He's so big.
You don't want things home that way.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck with writing your report. India was just a great example of that, and so I feel like that's an important thing to point out when people are like, "Oh, what if this scenario for why you need violent revolution? What if this scenario for why you don't need it?" There are ways to do it in a way that still insist and are firm, but are also trying to make a better world and trying to build everyone up instead of supporting some people while trying to tear down others. Vernonium says, I plan to have 5-foot soldiers. That's realistic. Interesting. Daniel said 20 as of now. Vernonium said big plans. Michael says cool. Eskimo says, Vernonium, where are you located? Leanna says, all Aeternia needs for defense is me. I have no fear and will do what I must. I agree, Leanna. Honestly, I support that. I think we would be good with you chilling. Like, I think first off, like the friendliness would be just on par. Like, I legitimately do like take seriously your statement, and I appreciate it, and I'm flattered by that. It gives me a huge amount of respect for you to show serious dedication to protection of your home and the people that you care about. And I agree. I feel the same way. I absolutely love Eternia, and I want to do everything that I can to make it the best that it can be, and a possible reality for people long, long after myself. But the thing that I think is incredible about you is that I think people would just enjoy their time. Like, I guess people who are coming in to cause trouble would try and cause trouble, but dang, if you weren't, you would have a hard time hanging out with Liana and not just enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like, hanging out, Liana chilling, doing like Imperial Market stuff, meeting everybody, meeting Gray, meeting Steve. I don't know how people could not enjoy it. Daniel said, but with some foreign investment, we will also allow us to have a big military, and will also allow immigration to our nation. It's very cool. Renonium says, how about you invest in yourself? I suggest learning as much as you can about what you want to pursue. That's accurate. I would say, yeah, definitely, like, the more that you can research about a particular subject you're interested in, the more you can understand the practicalities and even potentially the calculations you need to do in order to make something work for you. It's really, really cool, and I always respect people who are actively trying to educate themselves. Trudeau says, May 1st is the anniversary of the Battle of Noe Targ and the uprisings of peasants and Podhale of my people's group against the Polish-Lithuania Commonwealth. They attacked our land, destroyed the economy, and starved the locals to death. Goodness. So the locals formed an army against Poland. Wow. Daniel said, I need to get my nation's economy set up. Trudeau says, unfortunately, the winged hussars won and executed all members of the uprising that they captured. Darren said, don't know Minecraft. Hey, what's up, Darren? Eskimo says, the winged fight back to back, never fall back, ready to fight. Interesting. Darren says, but India and Gandhi are history. I know they don't teach about history in school anymore. It's such an interesting thing. I mean, they do. I just think there's so much context and there's so much depth to history that when you learn something in a class for the first time, you just kind of hear it, and you may have heard it before, so you just kind of go, oh yeah, that. But then really, like, learning more and more in depth about how these things occurred, the reasons they occurred, all the different, chain of events that cause something, makes a whole lot of difference when you look at the context. And when you get that context. Daniel said, I would like another source of income that might make it possible to no longer rely on Social Security. That's completely fair. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's really, really difficult for a lot of people is trying to make sure that that you can make money and that you can be okay. And I think people starting small businesses, people starting nations, is an interesting tactic to grow out of that. And I think part of it is just the lack of support by the larger macronation that you're in for not being able to advance certain aspects of your life. But I think as well, some of that is just entirely situational, and I think there's not enough credit given to that like, if there were systems in place that were designed off of seeking those seeking work, designed off of trying to support somebody's skills and talents that they've perfected individually, that it would sort of advance and specialize different aspects of our economy to make it so that just about anybody can find an easy fit into a job, into a place within their community, and feel stable in that and feel secure in that. And I think that's the best way to go, is just trying to continually make and shape your economy, your culture, your society to fit that model, and to make sure that people do feel included, supported, and financially stable in the community that you're creating. So yeah. That's something that's important. Vernonium says, start a business. Darren says, well, I've purchased a CNC milling machine, a shop press, an electric melter, silver, and graphite molds, and have started to test pouring for coins. Hey, congratulations, Darren. I'm glad to hear that. Crusalaba said, we don't have an official currency, but we use Australian dollars. Ooh, that's very cool. Darren says, will do as you must. Have you ever been shot at or shot back? Ooh, I have. Ooh, interesting. Darren coming with some experience. Brenonium says we have a 50C note instead of a coin. That's interesting, and I definitely respect that. I feel like people undervalue the effect of paper currency, but it's important. Daniel said, well, sadly, I don't really have any ideas that might be suitable for a person on Social Security. Interesting. Brenonium says, but we also have 1C notes. Daniel Maloney says, at Brenonium, I don't have anything, have any working printer. Ooh. Leanna said, all my weapons will be less than lethal. I'll be using CO2 paintball guns, using ammunition like pepper spray, pepper balls, and rubber balls. I'll make them think twice about coming back. Fair enough. But also, I don't know. I think most of the time the people who are going to be showing up to Eternia are going to be people who are like excited about it. You know, I think it would take a lot for someone to hate Eternia enough to like go out of their way to find us and do all that. I think it's possible, but I think for the most part we're going to have to be worrying about how to make sure that our guests are comfy and how to make sure that you know, everybody is taken care of. But of course, you know, it's always trying to make sure that everything works as it should. Brenonium says, C is crowns, our currency. Very cool. Is that a symbol you designed yourself, or is that something from a keyboard like, I'm curious what the symbol comes from before crowns. Eskimo says, I sit in a weird place. I kind of am a British loyalist, a proud America micronationalist, and a Southern nationalist all at the same time. Interesting. I guess I'm curious about what that means exactly. So I would say British loyalist is an interesting thing, I guess. I guess depending on whether or not you've like lived in Britain. If you have, that's interesting. A proud America micronationalist. That one's interesting because I feel like there's always, it's like a Venn diagram. There are like people who are micronationalists and there are people who like the United States, and there's like kind of some overlap, but it's not all overlap. It's an interesting scenario. So saying those two almost as like one thing, I guess does put you in the center of that Venn diagram, but it makes it sound like that's the standard. So it's an interesting way to phrase it. And then if Southern nationalist means like supporting like the Confederacy and like slavery and stuff, that trips me up. I would be curious as to what you mean by the last one, but if that's what if I am correct in taking it to mean what I think it means, I would be skeptical of that. I'd be worried about that. Eskimo Trudeau says, I only know one Eternia hater, and it says that C is K. And, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Also, who's the Eternia hater, Trudeau? Besides Ryan. Ryan will come with sometimes a dislike. Brenonium says, it's from a keyboard. Oh, okay, fair enough. Daniel said, Leanna, I might accept that for our military for the early years. Interesting. Leanna said, Darren, I had a guy put a gun in my face and told him to pull it. Ooh. That's crazy. That's ooh, just a crazy story. That's, wow. Leanna said, I don't register feel like most people because of my autism. That's interesting to think about. I suppose the different like perspectives that people have based on just who they are, you know, how they are how they're made up chemically, how they, you know, have experienced life, even, you know, just like the different events that have been a part of your life, and the way that affects your personality and who you are. That's just an interesting concept all around, man. I guess you never know what makes a person who they are, or why they do the things they do, unless you really get to know them. That's interesting. Uh, Vernonium says, "I like the United States. I don't like the United States government." Ooh, that's a fair take. There also should be an additional sliver in the Venn diagram for that. I feel like it would be bigger. I agree with that. I feel like most people who are in that center Venn diagram probably feel very similarly to you. Like they want change. They support the culture here, but they don't necessarily support the active legislature, and that's understandable. Eskimo says, to be fair though, a lot of people who fought for the South Southern Nationalists were British loyalists. Uh, that's also an interesting take. Darren says, when I went back to school a few years ago, my instructor realized I could teach his classes and admitted it. I said I was the best student he'd ever had. That's awesome, Darren. Congratulations. I would imagine that'd make you feel quite proud. The autocratic state of Krusalava says, yeah, I'd say I'm a royalist, but my nation is very formal and is technically a dictatorship. Interesting. Chuto said they had to go. See you, Chuto. Eskimo said, I kind of support them, but not the whole slavery thing, but the war was only partially about slavery, but Southern nationalists think the South is so different culturally and land-wise it should be separate. Interesting. So no, I would say the primary cause for this, that's a, people say, oh, the Civil War was only a little bit about slavery or just kind of about slavery. That's incorrect. That's a myth. That's not accurate. The primary cause for the Civil War, I believe most, if not all, historians agree, is because of slavery. Like that was the primary reason for it. But yeah, I wouldn't ever support being a Southern nationalist, but I understand, man. I couldn't ever be down for that, but yeah. Verdonium said, did I hear lost cause talking point? Eskimo said, I don't have autism, but I have relatively high IQ, and it gives me a lot of autistic symptoms. Interesting. I'm curious to understand that. Darren said, Highguard is an absolute monarchy, which, while advice is always welcome, once I make a decision, it's made. Dissent is not accepted. LOL. That's interesting. Leanna said, to sum it up, I was beat up a lot when I was a kid, so I'm always in some sort of combat mode, and the autism makes me fearless. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I'm glad you have adapted well to the environment that you were placed in and that you survived that. I'm sorry to hear that life has been so rough for you and that was necessitated. But I am certainly glad to know you, and I am certainly glad, hopefully, that you don't have to continue to do that, that you haven't had to do that in a while, because that's awful. Leanna said, Daniel, it's good to know you're not alone in your struggles, isn't it? Absolutely. Vernonium says the state of the Confederacy seceded for slavery. It literally says in their documents it's about slavery, so read them and weep, traitor. Darren says, oh, don't worry, banknotes backed by hard treasury reserve account is coming, but coinage first. Interesting. Vernonium says, even the soldiers knew. Pug said, hello. Darren said, notes will have an anti-counterfeiting feature embedded. Congratulations. Eskimo says it started, but then it was about states' rights. At the time, you have to think of it back then, slavery was normal, and it would be like taking away guns nowadays. It's also higher taxes in the South. Daniel said, at Leanna, yes, it is good. That's cool. Leanna said, greetings, Pug. Interesting. I'm glad everybody's making warm welcomes and then warm introductions. I was going to say, so the creation of like a monetary system and the creation of a lot of the infrastructure for a micronation is always really interesting to see how people go about it, because there certainly isn't one correct way to go about it, but it seems like there's a pretty consistent norm that tends to happen. So I like to see, how everybody's individual take on that is, and how that continues to grow. It makes me want to do more with the Micronational economics series, and I do want to get started talking more and more about that, and talking about how we've progressed through the different stages that we've talked about so far, and what we want to continue to talk about. So as of right now, I'm kind of showing off the stuff on the Imperial market. First off, we have 25 sales. We have, I think, all 5-star reviews. Average item review, we have 10 item reviews, 10 stars. 10 5-star reviews. I appreciate that so much, you guys. Thank you for showing the shop love. We have 6 admirers, 6 people who on Etsy we are like their favorite shop. They love us, and they put the little heart. That's really cool. We're developing these citizenship licenses. We're developing these. We have the Owl's Mark, the Imperial Notes, and the Unity Medal, that are all these little, saplings that are starting to grow out of our culture, and it's interesting to see that develop further. Tiffany's showing me homework stuff, so I'm trying to get situated.
Okay. So this is the problem.
Okay.
Remember the plots and move this up in the plot.
Plots actually on Canadian origin should assume with blue lines, so the lines should be mirroring each other. Yep, that sounds accurate. This between 2 R's increases the capacity decreases. The problem is not completely solved right, so the MLM solution is off. This does not mean that MLM is not accurate. The code is not accurately set up. The better results of the code need to be looked at more to find the source of the error, then fix the plots and ultimately the capacity calculations. That sounds accurate. I'm proud of you.
I'm telling you right now, the thing that's making me so mad about this is I know that if I got that part, my code literally only has one small little sign or something off somewhere, and it's gonna take me forever to figure out where it is just to be boop, fixed. I looked at his videos of the startup of the code, and my stuff matched his crap completely. And then I checked what other people were sharing and talking about, and I was like, no, I did that. I don't know what's wrong. Something's wrong, and I can't figure it out.
I believe in you. Also, I'm gonna jump into the chat real quick. Ooh, thank you guys for hanging out with us.
I have a crazy person that has 15 different windows open. You don't constantly jumping between.
Yeah, but still, you're getting your stuff progressed. You're doing it. Pug said greetings. Greetings, Pug. Vernonium said, Eskimo, Google the Cornerstone speech. That's your homework? Interesting. Eskimo says, how about you read a book? There's many reasons wars start. They don't just start for one reason. Ooh, everybody's jumping back and forth. About this history. This is interesting. Trudeau says culture, in my opinion, isn't enough to show someone why someone should be independent. No, I completely agree with that. Trudeau pointed out something interesting. He was like, just because you have a culture doesn't mean that you deserve independence. And I think that's true to some degree. I think that the necessity for independence comes with the intensity of a culture, I would say. So at the point where your culture is so incredibly distinct from the culture of the nation that presides over you, there becomes a certain necessity for independent, established direction. For you to be able to choose your own representatives, for you to be able to determine some things for your own life and for the way that your community lives and interacts based on that culture. So that's a large issue for me, and I think sort of how the connection between culture and independence works. So for us, like I said, we have these little saplings, these little buds that are starting to grow out of our culture and starting to define who we are. If someone were to ask us about who the Empire of Aeternia is and why we're doing what we're doing, we would show them this channel. We would show them these items, which are real proof of citizens who are going around in the world and who are interacting as Aeternians, who are presenting themselves to others as Aeternians, who have identification cards as Aeternians, who have the Imperial Notes as support of Aeternia, who have the Owl's Mark and the Unity Medal as a support of what micronations are doing, and as well what the Empire of Aeternia is doing. So all of that, I feel like, shows not only that you have a culture, that you're an interesting and unique people, but also that that culture has impacted people to the point that they self-identify differently now. They don't identify as whatever the norm of their surrounding nation identifies. They identify as a part of a specific subculture, as a part of a specific identity group, and that being in the support of our nation, being a citizen or a supporter of our nation, and at large a micronationalist. That's what I think this is about, and that's why I think there is a connection between culture and a need for independence. You're right, they aren't one-to-one, but there is a necessity for culture and a way that culture breeds independence in a really beautiful way, I think, when it's done properly. Leona said, I recommend 1984 by George Orwell. Bernonium says, read... Ooh, everyone's hitting stuff up. Trudeau says, like if historically they were never independent or never attempted to be. Trudeau says, because history, I'm not saying culture isn't a factor, in that there's a world where that is the case. There's one, that it is a case, there's a million or a billion countries. Eskimo said true. Bernonium says, if you read the articles, Secession of blatantly slavery, they don't even try to hide it. Yeah, that is, yep. Eskimo says, like you said, you learn to read 70% of it. Ooh, interesting. Darren says, I'm the little guy that would fight bullies picking on other little guys. That's interesting, Darren. That's a cool setup. Okay. Eskimo says, Bernonium says, homie, even after the war, Confederates heard about how they thought they were spirit. Yeah. Ooh, everybody's throwing shots. This is interesting. Trudeau says, I agree with AP. I agree with you, Trudeau. What were you agreeing with me for? Bernonium said, sorry. Darren said, slavery and state. Okay, we're continuing on this topic. Goodness. Leanna said, wow, the hostility level just went up. Yeah, this is getting crazy. This is really hard. The comments are really jumping now about Civil War stuff. So while we got the history buffs trying to argue Civil War facts and terminology, I'm going to continue to talk about what we've been doing as a micronation and how we're trying to grow. So ultimately it has come down to support for the programs that we're instilling and continuing to further improve those. As you guys saw, we have the loading bar for our land purchase, sort of the confirmation for our land purchasing ability. And that is going to continue to tick up. We have more purchases already that have been set for us, and ultimately in all of that, we will be trying to advance what it means to be Eternian. So that's something that when we get a little bit of that land bar filled up, I think there will be a certain cultural connection to that. Not saying that we will establish culture just because of a certain milestone marker on this actual on this loading bar, but I do think that this loading bar and its fullness or lack thereof represents a certain point in development of our society and how quickly we're able to progress. So as that bar increases and as it accelerates in its filling, I believe you will see the Empire of Aeternia expand and develop in like fashion. And so I am blown away by all the support that we've had thus far and how we are continuing to grow. This is something that has been a labor of love for myself for a long time, but as well is becoming a labor of love of this community, which has really taken the wheel on this, and I am 100% impressed by that. We're trying to make things that fit and work better for us as time goes on, but obviously a lot of that is pushed forward just by the people who are supporting every day and watching and talking and continuing to update us on things. Speaking of which, we just upped in subscribers. We're now at 1232, so thank you guys for helping us to march a little bit closer to 1250. When we hit 1250, we are a quarter of the way between 1,000 and 2,000. So that's certainly a big goal coming up. To be 1/4 of the way between 1,000 and 2,000 means we are again like boosting those subscriber numbers, those daily subscribers, and really getting the word out about our community, that it's not just, people are hearing about us, but now it's people are hearing about us and telling other people about us and starting to cause a little bit of an avalanche. So we want to pick that up. We want to make that avalanche bigger and larger and more powerful. And the way to do that is by doing interesting things and by doing things that are specifically beneficial to this community, so that's where our support right now is going, and that's where a lot of our investment economically is going.
Will you be able to go with me to take a trip to the house tomorrow morning after I get done with a meeting with one of my teachers? He said he's going to allow me to redo the interview. We'll make up the interview since I missed it, but it's at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'll get up with you.
And then when I get done with it, we can take the truck over that way, and then we can come back and just study for finals.
That sounds good to me. I got a person. I've got her now. She's trapped. She bit my ear. She's an ear biter. I'm offended. My sensibilities. Sorry, what's up? Tiffany says she must be related to Mike Tyson because she was biting my ear off. I guess I'm a Vander Holyfield out here. You got me. I appreciated that. I was looking at myself in the reflection. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure something out. But yeah, I did a weird movement in the camera, and I was like, that probably seemed weird across the screen, so I figured I would explain. Yep, people are talking still about the Civil War. This is interesting. Leona said, okay, you guys are eating up the comments of the debate about history. This is supposed to be about Aeternia. I appreciate it, Leona. I think there's room for talk about both. I think the comments blowing up in general is a good thing, just to have kind of active chat happening. But I do appreciate it. I'm excited to talk more about Aeternia stuff. I think you're right. Eskimo says, stop fighting over your political views. I didn't say I was Confederate. I said I was Southern nationalist. You sound like a... Okay, everybody's jumping off. I'm trying to get into stuff. Government of Ambistan joined us. Hello, Government of Ambistan. There's an interesting conversation happening in the topic comments, but we're also talking about Eternia. What's going on? Leanna greeted Ambistan. Trudeau jumped in. Ambistan said, and gave us a cool smiley face. Leanna said, both of you need to chill out. Ambistan said, the Ambistani server was barely active yesterday and now it's dead again. Well, the good news is that's like continued progress. When the Empire of Aeternia server started, there were months and months and months where we didn't have anybody online. I mean, like, I had friends from the university that I'm attending who were a part of it and, you know, who just wouldn't be on there. They're busy, and so it was just, you know, 4 people and you know, not much happening. So the server was, for one term or another, people would call it like dead all the time. Like, oh, the server's dead, the server's dead. And it was interesting because very quickly, once there was just like a number that was hit, you know, I'm not sure exactly where that was. I didn't pay super close attention right when it happened, but there was like a certain sort of buildup where all of a sudden, after enough people were in it, you would start to see where there would at least be like 2 or maybe 3 people who would start being online at the same time. And then once that started happening, there were these conversations that were more readily happening. And then people would jump in and they'd be excited to stay because they'd see new conversations to interact with, new stuff happening. So it was good. Bernonium says, I'm not doing gotcha moments, I'm pointing out your crap. Ooh, interesting. Ambistan said, stop. Ooh, everybody could chill with it. Ambistan says, stop. Leanna said, bruh, drop it. Trudeau says, I'm gone for a second, and what's happening? Yeah, this is a crazy interaction that's happening. Okay, I'm jumping off of it. The thing that has gotten me with creating the Eternian Progress Prize is like, how do you judge the progress of a micronation? And that's something that I want to make a video about more coming up. But there's so much that goes into it for so many people. You know, there are a lot of people who really are like, you know, who would have the micronational military be like a big part of that, I think. And oh gosh. And so that's one of the questions for me is what topics constitute, you know, large-scale progress for a micronation, and what should be considered smaller scale, or what should be considered, you know, I guess parallel, but not directly the same as the focuses of that particular progress, or general micronational progress. Eskimo said, that's what you've been trying to do the whole time. Krusavia said, posting a new video. Eskimo said, okay. Hey, everybody's chilling. Okay, that's cool. Ambistan said, I think my house is possessed. Why do you think your house is possessed? Chito said, I remember when I first joined, it was half dead. Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting. Ambistan said, but gonna check what just happened. Vernonium says, how are you so... Okay, still jumping around. Chito said, I don't know, but sometimes I feel like the server reviver. But that's what I love, though. That's the thing. I really get hyped when people do jump in the server and post new stuff, because it helps other people. You know what I mean? When you post something in our server and you talk about it and you know, try and reach out to other nations who may have posted something previously, you're giving people ideas. There may be somebody at home who's like, oh, I have this thing that would work perfect for my nation, would really be the next thing to launch us off, but I don't know how to do it. There's this one problem I'm having. And then somebody will post about it, and somebody will be like, oh, I've been actually meaning to do that myself. I see that multiple times, at least on the server, people like realizing a new thing and being like, I've been looking for that for a while, thank you, with like, you know, how to make a particular like flag design, or how to where to get your anthem made, where to, purchase actual flag. There's a whole bunch of stuff where people have like technical questions about how do I do this or that, or how do I develop my micro wiki page, stuff like that. All of which are actively supported talks by our community, and are something that when the conversation gets started about it, it seems like almost everybody has something to contribute. So don't be afraid to throw those comments out there and those ideas of like, hey, I'm trying to do this, where am I going wrong, where am I going right, because people will surprise you with how helpful they can be. Ambistan said, my house is possessed, gonna go check what happened. Ambistan said something ripped off a drawing from the wall. Ambistan said nothing was there, no wind. Ambistan said it just got ripped off by nothing. Leanna said drop it already. Agree to disagree. Dang, everybody's blowing up. Ambistan said also I remember when I was sleeping and I got told I was talking to something in a deeper voice. Basically, I could have been talking to a ghost. I don't know. It worries me. Be careful. I don't believe in ghosts, but I will say I have heard people tell like some pretty convincing ghost stories, some pretty interesting tales. So I definitely hope everything's okay with you, and I hope you feel more at peace in your house very soon. Chuto says, Chris, Chuto says, you okay? Nueva Scotia said, hello. Hello, Nueva Scotia. How are you? Ambistan says, yes, what do you mean? Eskimo says, okay. Darren says, I did not create Highguard because of culture. I created it because of my ethical code and for fun. My interest in governing and desire for legacy. That's interesting. And that's a good set of reasons. I would say, I feel like that in itself, though, does define a culture. Like, you're like, I didn't do it because of culture, but here are all the things that, like, design my culture, basically. I feel like, in a way, you did. Like, it makes it sound like you had a specific culture you were interested in, and so you applied that culture. You just had it thought out beforehand, So yeah, I feel like you did. The ethical code is a part of that culture. Your sense of enjoyment, the things that people like doing in your nation, that's part of your culture. Your interest in governing and being an active part of a community, that's a part of a culture. Desire for legacy, also part of a culture. People's traditions. Bernonium says war is over. Ambistan said I have a roommate who's a ghost. That's cool. Ask him to join your micronation. Or her to join your micronation. You never know. Ghosts could probably be pretty cool advocates for change. It'd be interesting. As well, if you could bring people to your house and a ghost went join this micronation, maybe people would get hyped. Maybe they'd be like, well, if my ancestors, support Ambistan, why can't I? Chuto says, pretty sure Russian guy is a fan of the show. Wait a minute, what? Darren said 1984, excellent book, recommend reading. Leanna says, I've dealt with ghosts. They're usually attracted to people they think can help them. Next time something like that happens, ask the ghosts how you can help them. Oh, that's interesting. Have you ever been led on an adventure by a ghost? That's a crazy concept. Ambistan said no answer. Vernonium says, I'm going to make a supermarket so my citizens don't have to go back. Gosh golly. You ever a hard choke on your own saliva? Gosh. Vernonium says, I'm gonna make a supermarket so my citizens don't have to go back home to get water. That makes sense. Wells also work quite well for that. I would be interested to see how you would set up your supermarket. And also, would it be like a small convenience store, or would you be like, no, this is gonna be like a super Target, like this is gonna be big? Because you did say a supermarket, so you building like Walmart? Like what's the size of this thing? Eskimo says, I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe in demons. Oh, that's interesting. What's the difference? Well, I guess like one's from hell and one's not. So one's like inherently evil. You're like, I believe in evil spirits. I don't believe in like just regular dead human spirits. That's interesting. Leona said, sadly, Darren, 1984 is becoming reality. Oh, goodness. I think there's a lot of optimism for the future in technology. Honestly, I'm hype about it. I'm not as worried. Shuto says, I mean, in my religion, ghosts usually are good and help people. Oh, that's good. And that's also an interesting dynamic to know about your culture. Shuto says, like, when you're on a crossroad and a breeze of wind blows one direction, you should follow it. Oh, interesting. Like, even if it's just away from, like, where you need to go. Like, I just imagine somebody, like, trying to get home before it, like, gets dark, and they're, like, walking on a street, and they come to an intersection, they're trying to cross the street, and a breeze blows them down the street, and they go, no, but my house is the other way, and the wind keeps blowing harder, and they're like, no, come on, don't do it. Don't do it. And you get lost. You just end up forced to go to, like, the next state over or whatever, the next city over, trying to travel and then follow this wind that led you to your ultimate destiny. Has that led anybody to success? Like, is there anybody who's like, I got married one time because I met the love of my life after I chased a gust of wind straight up to their doorstep? That was crazy. That'd be an awesome story to tell people. Darren says, I just chime in on whatever catches my interest. I'm 58 years old. Shyness ain't an issue for me, said Darren. That's interesting. Eskimo said, crossroads are a cool part of my culture. Oh, see? Very similar cultural stuff. Ambistan said, I can't wait to join LIN. What's LIN? I'm confused. As well, did everybody who's here hear about the P.O. Box? We have the P.O. Box now. So if you guys want to send us stuff to the P.O. Box, I'm gonna hit up the information again. It's right here. The P.O. Box, address it to the Empire of Aeternia, and the P.O. Box being P.O. Box 923 in Madison, Alabama. 35758 would be the setup for that. Ambistan says, I can't wait to join LIN. Brenonium says, something like Thai or Japanese 7-Eleven type store. A large convenience store, but not Walmart Supercenter. Oh, that's fair. Leanna said, I deal with a lot of supernatural things. I've helped ghosts move on to the other side, and I've seen a UFO. Ooh, that's crazy. Trudeau says, my father ended up at a party and marrying my mother due to the wind. Impressive. Scotland said, good afternoon, Your Imperial Majesty AP, and how are you today, Imperial AP? I'm doing well. How are you, Scotland? It's good to see you, King Andrew. Leanna said, Darren, you're older than me. I'm 47. Interesting. 58 and 47. 11-year difference. Very cool. Ambistan said, LIN is the League of Independent Nations. It's the alliance led by Chairman Desluk. Interesting. How's that working out? That's very cool. I hope it's doing well. As well, again, here's our P.O. Box address if anybody wants to send us stuff. Our P.O. Box is only 3 inches by 5.5 inches though, so ideally, like letters, like, a regular like letter size would be fine to send us, but don't send us like big bulky stuff, please. Cause yeah, right now we have just a small one. Eskimo says I'm 14. Eskimo says usually people go to the crossroads to sell their soul, mostly musicians, and it has to be in Mississippi. Oh, this is such an interesting concept. This is lore. This is Mississippi lore. Chito says I discovered a waterfall which isn't that impressive, but props to the wind. Agreed. That's very cool. Brenonium says I'm in the Micronational Assembly. Ooh, very cool. Eskimo says I'll be 15 soon though. Hey, happy birthday, Eskimo. Mantis Shadow said, damn, how old are you are you talking to Eskimo? That's interesting. Anyway, what's up, Mantis Shadow? If you don't know, we're a micronation, and we are developing a country. We have already done a lot as far as gathering our citizens, setting up our land, trying to develop businesses and an international online marketplace. So now what we're trying to do is ask for continued support and try to purchase our own land. So if you're interested in supporting us in that, you can subscribe, you can hang out in our Discord, check out our Imperial Market. It's an Etsy shop, as well as our website, which has a link to all that and more. If you have any questions, let us know. We're a pretty open community. There's a lot of ways to find us. Darren says in 5 years, Highguard will have multi-directional economy, a mint, flea market stalls, Renaissance Fair Exchange, and regional tourist/merchant partners. Hey, congratulations, Darren. Renonium says, I have a meeting tomorrow, so hopefully that goes well. Congratulations, Renonium. I hope your meeting goes well. As well, Leanna said, greetings, Scotland. Greetings, Leanna, and greetings to Scotland as well. Darren said, United Kingdom of Scotland, greetings from Kingdom of Highguard. Mantis said, no, I'm talking to you, Emperor. I joined really late. That's all right. I am in my 20s. I'm 22 as of right now, which is a pretty interesting age, I have to admit. I'm excited about it, though. I've been doing this micronation stuff for like 5 years now. I think I started the Empire of Aeternia like 5 years ago. We've only been on YouTube, I think, for like 2.5, 3 years now, but it's been pretty great. The community's been incredibly supportive, and I love this. Thanks to you all for making this possible for us to continue growing on our way. Leanna said, greetings, Scotland. Ambistan said, hey. Leanna said, actually, you can use any crossroads. They don't need to be near on a ley line. Interesting. Vernonium said, personally, I don't believe in selling your soul since God owns people's souls, so someone couldn't sell something they don't own. Interesting. But that's my belief. Absolutely. And it's very interesting to see the connection and the interplay between different beliefs in our community. Scotland said, yeah, Darren. Leanna said, greetings, Tiffany. Greetings. Tiffany said, greetings, Leanna. Eskimo said, oh man, I have proof the government watches us. Edward Snowden did too. It was interesting. He got it to you first. Renonia said, yeah, the Patriot Act. Got him. Hey, it's little Mooney boy. It's the little Mooney boy hanging out, doing his Mooney stuff. What you want to say, Mooney? Mooney's reading the comments. Oh, he was concerned about that one. That one's not a good comment. Okay. There you go, bro. There's a lot of stuff. So, Trudeau said, I've been into micronationalism for 6 years. Wow. Scotland said, good afternoon, Mr. President Daniel Maloney. How are you today? It is good to see you guys. Eskimo says, I was looking stuff up about the Army, and then a National Guard recruiter texted me with my full name, asking for my high school and age, and said he would put me on my board, and he called me and had me say a creed. Oh, interesting. Mantis Shadow said, wow, man, very good. Can you speak a bit on your micronation's political ideology? I may be interested in joining if it leans more to the political right. I would say that's an interesting setup. I would say don't take the micronations based off of that. Don't pick your micronation based off of that. Also, don't judge the Empire of Aeternia based on that. So the Empire of Aeternia, I'd say it's an absolute monarchy. So I am the ultimate ruler. I have ultimate say on everything. But the Empire of Aeternia and my views are fairly liberal. We want to try and support everyone in our community and make sure that everybody is has the means to support themselves and to make that the government's responsibility to do that. But by nature of that, we are also actively attempting to invest in everyone's personal interest in the way that our community develops, in the way that our society grows, and in their particular part and fit into that society. So even if you may not necessarily support or agree with all of the reasoning behind what we do, I think if you are interested in us and in actually becoming a part of an interesting micronation, that you would be excited to see what we have to offer. The biggest things that I really like about Eternia, being of course the person that started it, I'm a bit biased, but we've done a lot in a short period of time. We have started to explain technologies to people that can help their micronations, as well as starting to create technological advancements that have helped us. The biggest of those is our arc furnace forge that we have developed. We started with a charcoal forge to start melting aluminum. We've now upgraded to a much nicer arc furnace, which allows us to melt a wide range of metals very, very quickly and in small amount. An arc furnace is one of the few types of furnace that can do that really well and be less wasteful. So we're also able to pursue an environmental impact as well, and trying to minimize our carbon footprint and stuff like that by doing things that can be powered solely by electricity. So having solar panels on our land and stuff that will help to provide that in capacitor banks, which will fuel our industrial equipment. On top of that, though, a lot of what we've done for right now, those things are bigger plans for the future. Even though, like I said, we already have the Arc Forge developed. That's been something we've actively been making metals on, and we have videos of that. We also have been developing our community a lot online. So what that has meant for us right now has been the development of our Discord, the development of this YouTube channel, and our other social media, including our Twitter and our Instagram. The incredible thing about the way that our Discord community has linked up with our YouTube community is that we have been, that's been the primary driver for interaction with our citizens. We have specific citizens-only chats, but we also have a very general and diverse Discord group that's generally bouncing ideas off of each other and sharing stuff. But what we've tried to develop as our economic output, as far as the Empire of Aeternia's ways for making money, have been in the Imperial Market, which is an online platform where we've been selling goods and services that you can see here. We actually have started to, let me jump onto it. We actually have started to expand that. So right now, these are the things that we have for sale. And as you can see, we've had 25 sales so far, and about 5 people have our notes in their cart. Now that's tied back to our actual our culture and our economy, because we have this aristocrat board where people who have purchased the most notes, people who have supported our economy the most, are ranked as the wealthiest, the elite in our nation and in our economy. So generally the top few people, both Matthew Freeman and Leanna Taylor, are citizens of ours. So those people really supporting us and helping us to grow, as well both of the second highest members of our government, Stephen Vince as the Master of the House of Treasure, our economics person, and Gray Mayer, Master of the House of Others, acting as sort of a foreign affairs advisor. They are also both big parts of the wealth of our nation and sort of how we've developed. What we're trying to do as a nation is to provide more and more access to the Empire of Aeternia, to its citizens online via new opportunities, via new ways to interact with us. Ultimately, our largest goal is to purchase a piece of land for ourselves so that we can do quite a bit of this in person with our citizens and focus down on the things that they would be interested in as far as that is concerned. But in the meantime, a lot of the ways that we've been able to develop and progress on our goals long term has been by creating things for our Imperial market. So as we've gone through, we just got a P.O. box, actually. If you didn't see earlier in the stream, we have a P.O. box now. You can write to the Empire of Aeternia at P.O. Box 923 in Madison, Alabama. And you can send us things that are the size of a a postcard or a conventional letter, and we can get those and open those and show them off on the channel. But all that's a way for us to interact with our community that's a lot more than people can generally do with a micronation. On top of that, we're trying to actively improve that experience. So one of the biggest, largest scale projects that we've ever done is something that's ongoing called the Prestige system. And I encourage you to check it out. It's something you can actually find on our website, the same website I was talking about earlier over here. The Prestige system, if we go over to More and the Imperial Market, we go down into the Prestige system, we have documents that talk about the different licenses that we have, and that describes how citizens, people who we consider sovereigns, basically people who are wanting to not necessarily join our micronation but still want to work and make money in our economic system, and then people who are from other micronations and how they want to interact in our economy and be able to buy and sell and to create value, to find their spot to fit in. So whether you're interested in becoming a citizen, becoming a part of our government even, or whether you're interested in just coming to see what we have to offer before you make decisions, and potentially even try to start your own financial enterprise within our country, that's all something that we are trying to actively make possible and continuing to break ground on month by month, year by year. So a lot of these systems that we've started have developed within the last few months to a year, and they are incredibly breaking ground incredibly quick. Like I said, this is our first stream where we've had a PO box. So now that our PO box is active, I think that's going to show a lot more of just how active our community is, and also get to show off to people who aren't familiar with the micronational community, like exactly what's up with it. Interesting. I would. I want to continue to reading what everybody's saying here. Trudeau says, I feel so bad how I missed out on half the things over the years. That's all right. We always have the videos to go back and watch. Leanna said, Darren, laying down the truth. Vernonium said, Ambistan said, I'll be back. Okay, see you soon, Ambistan. Ambistan returned then. Eskimo says yes. Darren says Highguard recognizes Aeternia, but as King of Highguard, I am by definition first citizen. Interesting. Vernonium said that's just what I believe. I appreciate Highguard recognizing us, Darren. That means a lot. Mantis said, alright, nice, seems quite interesting. I may be a bit stuck up on the Ma Freedoms thought pattern, lol. This empire seems very cool, actually. I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Thank you very much. If you want to actually become a citizen, we have a citizenship application. So let me post our link to our website. This actually will be the link to our website and, in fact, to our citizenship application directly. So if you want to mess around with that, and get into actually just becoming a citizen and participating that way, this will be the way to do it. The thing that I will say about our citizenship application is that we are we're based around this idea of support. So one of the things you'll see on the channel as you continue to look for stuff on it is that we are really big about trying to show off, who's in our micronation, what other micronations are doing. So there's a lot of user-submitted content, and that's one of the things that we ask of our citizens. So the two ways that you can pay for your citizenship, that you can meet all of our citizenship requirements. One of the biggest requirements, well, really there are two requirements. The first one is that you're not a citizen or obligated in any way to another micronation. So you can't be a citizen, you can't, be a part of the government or have any direct links or ties to another micronation. And then the second thing is that you, at least for the duration of your citizenship, you can't, participate in another micronation in that way. And then the other thing is you want to have some sort of way to pay for and support your citizenship. So that's either through a tax, citizenship tax. It's $1 a month on our Patreon. It's to help support us and grow the channel. We have a few citizens doing that, but if you're not interested in doing that, if you say, hey, I just want to, get into the citizenship, there's a way to get in completely free, monetarily. The other way to do that is to send us content. If you're interested in making content for us, we're getting close to being able to monetize the content on our channel. So as time goes on, if you want to become a citizen, hang out with us, get to know the community. If you want to become a citizen, just you fill out that application, and we will, as soon as you send it out, we're going to try and look for it, and we will respond to you and say, hey, this is basically the same spiel I'm giving you right now, that would you be able to, and it even asks on the application, would you be able to make content for our channel? Because that's the easiest way to pay for that citizenship requirement and to meet that citizenship requirement. So for us, we want everybody to be actively participating in making Aeternia bigger and better and making it work. Because we're trying to get land, we're trying to have a place for people to come and live and be Aeternians full time. So what that is, and to be full body embracing that experience. So what that means for us ultimately is making sure that we are really out there representing and making sure that everybody's putting in 110. So that's what's going for us. That's what we're trying to do. And if you're interested in that, let us know. We definitely want people who are energetic about it and who want to create something. The big investment in Aeternia right now is that you're able to see both some success of it and also still get in on the ground floor. There's still a lot to be, decided about how Aeternia develops in the future and how it ultimately forms into the more rigid structure that it will become. But as of right now, there's a lot of wiggle room on a lot of things. There's a lot of things still yet to be fully established for us. So as we continue to be figuring those things out, those who are more and more active and participatory in our community are going to be the ones who help to really shape that policy and the way that we move forward as a culture and as a people. So I'm excited about it, and I'm excited for seeing who is interested in that. Government of Ambistan says someone is calling me LARPer in my video comments. Interesting. I will say people do hate. People post hate in my comments. People post hate in everybody's comments. I would say ignore them first off, and secondly, do you feel like you're LARPing? Like, if that's not a bad thing, like you could be like, I'm having fun and I'm enjoying myself and I'm like role play. Like that's fine. It just depends on your take of it. If you're like, I'm not role playing, then think about it and figure out why they might feel that way. But if it's completely unbased and they're just picking on you, take into account that too, and just kind of take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Vernonium says message retracted. Truto said goodbye. I'm going outside since it's warm. Hey, have fun outside, Truto. Leanna said goodbye, Truto. Eskimo said bye. Vernonium said farewell, Truto. Darren says, as first citizen, I cannot join other micronational, but unlike some micronations, we welcome alliance and mutual cooperations. That's fair. I will say that's something that Aeternia really needs to get bigger and better on, is finding very solid ways to interact with other micronations. Leanna said, AP, you're going to keep praising what I do for Aeternia until I blush. You deserve it, Leanna. You're a big help, and it means a lot to us. Ryan says, watch out, the FBI knows about in Minecraft. The FBI knows about what in Minecraft, Ryan? Verdonium says, AP, what is your plan for a school curriculum? That's interesting. So I would say for a long time in Aeternia, I imagine our students would use the at-large macronational public education system. whatever the closest available is. Just because the resources for like properly educating children and making sure that that is accepted in other places is a huge like undertaking. You know what I mean? You can ultimately set up private schools that are recognized and that are considered valid for high school diplomas and stuff, which can be verified to allow students into college, which is ultimately what we would want. So they would be trying to meet the requirements of the U.S. educational system in order to establish a school for ourselves. However, that's something that is a far-off goal. It's not one of our more immediate goals, just because it is an investment in our future. It is something that specializes us as Aeternians, but there is a lot of requirement, a lot of upkeep to that. So as we don't have too many Aeternians with children right now who are actively needing to put those children in one of our schools, the public education system of the United States has been a very good substitute for the time being, and will continue to be, I think, until the point where we can develop a system like that properly, such that any of our students from day one are secured, that know that they are going to be able to leave their education prepared for a college education if they so choose, and if not, certainly a well-fitting position within our society and within hopefully society at large. Something that will benefit them and teach them valuable skills for the future. Eskimo says, "Oh no." Darren Weber says, "Just sending first official greeting." Hey, I'm excited. Scotland said, "Good afternoon, Richard Taylor. How are you?" Yeah, and then I posted the citizenship application. Let me go down some more. Ooh, Darren said, Highgard needs an enemy. Molossia is East Germany. I'm looking at classic lit. I want Ruritania. I wanted Ruritania, but I like Queen Anastasia. That's interesting. I would be curious to know more about Ruritania and how that is. Also, why do they need an enemy? Why do you need an enemy? I feel like when you find somebody who's an enemy, that should be natural, but also don't look to pick fights. Eskimo says, "I'm making a video not to flex, but I'm rich, then show my 5 notes." No, I would love that. Please do. Please be like, "I'm rich," and then show the 5 notes. We'll post it on the channel. Like, if you can send us content, that's one of the things that Gray and I have been talking about very recently. Gray, the master of the House of Others, he and I have been discussing how there's not a ton of content about people reviewing the things that they get, and talking about, hey, here's a video of me with my Aeternian notes. Here's a video with me with my ID and stuff. So that's something that I want to come very, very soon. Eskimo said Switzerlandist. Mantis said, "I'll likely have to rewatch the stream, man, since it's very late in my country and I need to sleep." It's 2:42 a.m. I wish you well, Mantis Shadow. It is 1:50 a.m. here, so I'm probably going to be going in not too long as well. But I wanted to tell you I appreciate you hanging out on the stream, and also I'm excited to hear from you. Please make sure to get into our Discord. We have a Discord link, I believe, up here, as well as the Imperial Market and the website. So you should be able to find all our stuff from those sources. And thank you for hanging out with us. I really look forward to hearing from you. And you can always reach out to us at eternianempire@gmail.com if you have any questions. Also subscribe to us so you can remember where to find us and hang out with us. Leanna says, "I'm doing well, Scotland. How are you doing?" Scotland says, "I'm fine, thank you, Leanna, and you're welcome." Renonium says, "Message retracted." Davis Wellerman says, hey, how are you, Davis? I don't think I've seen you in the streams before. If you don't know, we're the Empire of Aeternia. We are a micronation. We are a group of people who have created a country and are developing that to try and house, clothe, and ultimately take care of those people who are helping to develop it. So one of the biggest things that we've been moving forward with lately is trying to develop all these programs that we've been talking about on the stream, and the most exciting of which has been our P.O. box and getting that, and now having the ability to interact with our citizens more personally, who can't be here in person. Kruslavia says, "Hello, Davis." Davis, tell us what brings you around. We're glad to see you. Darren Weber says, 1984 is in some way perhaps, but I have a broad, holistic view of life in the world. Many things are becoming reality. Ooh, Manta Shadow said, Surely Man Hope, you have a great one and all the best. God bless and have a good night. P.S. Already subscribed. Thank you so much, Mantis. That means a lot. That's actively helping us toward our goals. I hope you have a good night. Um, ooh, um, everybody's going off. Eskimo says, My dad and I did a lot of research. I am related to 3 famous people. Jacob Moses Ezekiel, that's cool. I'm related to the Queen, to the Scottish clan Woods. That's interesting. Um, Daniel said having difficulty getting High Guard, quote, on the map. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, Darren. Let me go back and don't have information required fields on registries, but it will come in time. Let me go back and check. If there's something in particular you're having issue with, please let us know. I can also like double check that. If you've sent me emails discussing this, I think I got at least one email from you asking about information for the map. So I will take a look at that again. And if you have any questions, please email me. I hope I can help with that. Vernonium says, I want to build an office in my basement. Yeah, that's very, very cool. I want to do like an eventual like set aside set for this show and for the Empire of Aeternia to use as a whole. I would love to have kind of a production station that's nice and that people can come into and really, really make cool content. So I'm excited about it. Eskimo says I live in a trailer. That's fair. We live in an apartment at the moment, so it is an interesting development to the top, but we'll get there together. Darren says, oh, AP, did you get the message with high guard coordinates and flags? Well, I was going to say, yes, that's the one that I did see. And I think I had asked about you, like, filling out the information on the map. The biggest thing that we need is, like, an address. Like, we need an address. You might have sent that already, but I will check it out. High guard coordinates. Yeah, the coordinates would be fine. Okay, so yeah, let me go back and double check your email, because you might have enough information. If not, I will send you an email and request the rest of it. Scotland said, have a good night, Mantis. Darren Weber said, so. Yeah, so we will try and get that set up for you just as quick as possible. I appreciate it, Darren. As well, some of the stuff just has to do with me getting busy and my schoolwork becoming strenuous at times. So like right now we're in the middle of finals, so that's been one thing that's been slowing us down, but that will be picking up pretty quick during the summer. We should be off to the races there. Eskimo said it's 154, and I agree with that, which means, you already know what it means. It means that we are probably going to go ahead and jump off. I'm pretty tired, but I wanted to tell you guys that I appreciate you hanging out. Thank you everybody for helping us to grow to this point. Still more to come about our prestige system, still more to come about our PO box and information with that, and ultimately still more to come with the Eternian Progress Prize. But all of that will be answered very soon on the next Dragon Ball Z. I will see you guys soon. Again, if you have any questions, email me, hit me up. And I appreciate you guys. Every day, that number up there gets a little bit bigger. Every day we get closer and closer to our goals. And, having people watch, 6 people watch for 2 hours, 12 hours of watch time, that would help us out tremendously. So I'm incredibly excited for what tonight's watch time hours are going to add, as well as all the video content we've been making recently. So thank you so much. Benonium says, good night, AP. Everybody say good night. Ooh, Scotland said it's 4:25 p.m. here. Wow. Chito says 8:55 p.m. Lana says it's 2:40. Ooh, everybody. Lana said Eternia forever. Darren says to Scotland, I can confirm that when I next correspond with His Excellency Kevin Baugh of Molossia. I'm so confused. Everybody's saying goodnight. Okay, real quick, I do want to check before we leave because I'm excited about our channel analytics. I want to go ahead and look at what our current views are for the stream, and then I want to hit up what our monetization and stuff is. 52 views so far. will it tell us watch time hours? 5 concurrent viewers, 11 likes. 64 playbacks. That's cool. 64 playbacks, 6 concurrent viewers, chat rate of 2. Average watch time 14 minutes 26 seconds. Hey, there we go. See, so I think we're going to be racking up a good few hours. Thank you guys. And like I said, we will be jumping back into all this very, very quickly. Eternia forever. I appreciate you all, and we will be back very, very soon. As well, please give me information for what you guys think I should do some shorts on. I want to do some more YouTube shorts where I just kind of, briefly quick film, or, if you guys have like a burning question that I can answer in like a 5-minute live stream or whatever. Now that I have my mobile streaming set up a little bit better, I can do all of that a lot easier. So if you guys have like something that you'd like a really short video on or something, please let me know. Or if there's anything you want to send us to have as a part of a video or as its own video, please definitely send it to eternianempire@gmail.com. Anyway, everybody, have a good night. Eternian Empire forever. I love you all. I appreciate